Okay, today I'm going to show you how to format a page. Now when we're formatting a page, the first thing we're going to want to do is set our columns. It'll give us a better idea of our spacing. That's just the lines that'll help you know how far on the page you're putting things. So it can be anything you want, and when we print the page they won't show up, so you don't have to worry about purple lines being all over your page. Now we'll go with 8, but you can pick whatever you want for your page. The first thing we'll do when we're making this page is put in our section and our page number. So we'll take a line, we'll hold down Shift and drag it all the way across. We'll move it up to about here, so we can put in, say, 0.5. Then you'll grab your type tool, you can make a box. Type in whatever section it is on caps lock, or if that's not the standards for your paper, if you want to do something different, do whatever you want, but for our paper, that's what we do. And we can get the font to be big enough to fill up this box, and you can move this up if you want so everything will touch. If you wanted to click right onto the line, and then if we want to make another text box, we can just Command C, Command V, put our page number here, and then we can decide if we want our page number to be as big as the section or if we want to make it smaller. If we do want to make it smaller, we can do that and just click it right in there. You can hit the W key and see how that looks. And if we like it, we'll keep going. Hit the W key again to get back to this editing mode. So, now we'll set up our page to put our stories in. The first thing we're going to do is put in a column right here. So we're going to click the line tool and hit Shift and drag a line all the way down to the bottom. And we'll set that stroke to about 0.5, whatever you want to do on your page is fine. Again, click, make sure you like it, and if you do, we'll continue. Then, after that, you can do another line for your story that will go on the bottom. You can take that there, go with the same width, probably 0.5 again, and we'll check and see how that looks. Now if that's a little too close to that, you can drag it back, whatever you think looks best, but at least that will keep our stories separated. And then, in this last space, we can put in our dominant. So we'll take the frame tool here, and we'll drag it there, and now we can place our dominant image in it. Now on the dominant, you can have your text right on it. So that image can fill up the whole box if we want to. So we'll click our image, and it's too small, so we can hold down Shift and drag it into the box. And if it's blurry, it's probably because you aren't on Overprint Preview, which I am, and that's why mine isn't that blurry, but this isn't the most high-res picture, but it'll do. So we have this, and we have our setup for our page. Now we can start putting in stories and formatting that. So what we can do is format one standard headline, one standard deck, and then text, and we can just copy paste those ones that we made, put them on all the stories, and then plug in the information for each individual story. So we'll get our headlines ready. And we can do something like headline for this story goes here. Just something to fill space. We want headlines at about maybe 30 or so, maybe a little less. We can go 27. And then you can get your headline font. This is the one we use for the Hawkeye, but you are free to use whatever you want. And you can put it right in. That. Perfect. We just need to bring this line up so it reaches the top of the dominant. And now we have our headline for our first story. And now we can put that headline on all of our stories. Now you probably don't want it centered for this one necessarily on the bottom, so we can just put that back at being aligned right. And now on the dominant, we'll see if this headline shows up, and it doesn't really. So we can try and change the color to white, see if that shows up. If that doesn't either, a good way to get around that is first moving your headline out of the way and clicking on the rectangle tool, dragging a rectangle over on top of your picture the exact size it is, and just filling it in black, then clicking your selection tool, and we're going to drag what's called the opacity down to about 60 or so. And that'll make the dominant faded enough that if we were to put in a headline on top of it and then turn it white, it'll show up pretty easily. And that's good. That's what we want. So we'll leave that. Now we can make our decks. So just write in some filler text here, whatever it is, and you can get to your deck font, whatever you want to use. For the Hawkeye, we use Myriad Pro, and you can pick the size you want. Probably around 14 or so is good for a deck. In this space, you probably want to center. In the others, you probably want to align right. So we'll do that. There. And just Command-C, Command-V. Make another deck. We want to align right. Line it up with the headline. Command-C, Command-V. Turn the text white for this one. And then we'll drag that right over there. Perfect. The next thing we're going to want to do is set up our bylines. Byline is who wrote the story, so you can write in someone's name and their position. And you can pick the font that you want to put that in. For us, we use Helvetica Neue. And that can be either the same size or slightly smaller than your deck. It's up to you. And you can make it slightly different if we want to zoom in and look. You can make their name bolded, and then if you want to make their position name light, that looks nice. So we can do that. Drag this to fit there. And then we'll drag that onto all of our stories. So we'll take the first one, just put it right there. Put the next one here. And then the last one will turn white, so it'll show up on this dominant. And we'll drag it right there. Perfect. Now we can hit the W key and see how everything looks. And if we like it, we'll keep going. If we don't, say we want to make the lines thicker, we can do that. Play around with what you have at this point, and we'll see how much you like everything. It's up to you. Now I think it would look better if we made this bold, so we'll do that. But again, it's up to you. Whatever you want on your page, you can do. Okay, so now we'll put in text. So what we're going to do is, for a column, we're just going to drag a text box all the way down. And you can control-click and just fill it with placeholder text for now. We can highlight everything and go to the second from the bottom right option up here. That's justify all lines, and that'll get you all set up there. Now, we can use that text box and turn it into all our other text boxes on the rest of the page. The way to do that is to click it, Command-C, Command-V, and it's going to be huge, so just drag it to the size that you want. And then line it up. You can Command-C, Command-V that again and again. And then highlight them all together so we can fit them all. And then we can click this button right here, the distribute horizontal centers, to make sure they're spaced out correctly and evenly. And we can link those text boxes together by clicking this red plus in the bottom right, clicking onto the next one, clicking onto the next one. And that means that when you highlight them, they'll all go together. So you can change the font together or separately for those. And you can set whatever text, font, or size you want there. Now we can highlight all three of those by just clicking and dragging over them, hitting Command-C, Command-V. You put them right onto your dominant, and we can drag them all together right there. And because they're linked together, we can highlight them all together, turn them white, and there you go. And now we'll hit W and see how this page looks. Perfect.